Hello and welcome to Inking on the Fly with me, Amy Jasper. I'm super excited to share another fun fold card with you. This card is, I don't know what to call it, probably a front flip. We'll call it that, front flip fold. You just open it up, fold open the card as normal. So it just has that extra flip in the front and a little extra fun to it, but it's super simple to make. So I'm going to show you how to make the this style of card. This one here is made with the Peaceful Place Designer Series paper, and then I've used the Holly Jolly Wishes stamp set for the Merry Christmas to You. And then the gems are, what are they called? Subtle Shimmer Sequins. So those have been painstakingly adhered to the front of the card. And of course the layered circle dies to create our circles. This one here, same stamp set, but I've used the sweet, what is it called? Sweet Stockings. Yes, Sweet Stockings Designer Series paper for this card. So it's got those adorable pooches and kitties and mice and critters anyways. So again, we can open it up and do that. And I've used the matte decorative matte dots to fancy this one up, and the double stitched red satin ribbon. Super cute. So I'm going to show you how to make this super simple, super easy card. And I'm going to use a different designer series paper for making it today. So we have to start with, I'm going to start with a piece of shaded Spruce designer series paper. I have scored it, or it's a standard size. So we have 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4, but I'm going to go ahead and cut off 1 1/4 inches off the side with my paper trimmer, which should be handy here somewhere. Here it is. So I'm going to cut off 1 1/4 inches off of the right side or left side, and then make it the right side. That works too, right? So 1 1/4 is there. So 1 1/4 inches, like that. So then we have two pieces. So this one is now 7 1/4 inches long, still scored at 4 1/4. And now I have this extra piece, which is 1 1/4 inches wide by 5.5 inches wide. And we don't necessarily need that whole 5.5 inches. But it's nice to have some extra wiggle room to play with. So also we will need another piece of cardstock. This one is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So that's a very tight mat over top of that one. And then this is going to be a mat on the front side of our card. Let me fold this so you can see a little bit better. So this one will be on the inside, right? And mat like that. And this one is going to be a layer on the front, on that front fold. Okay. So our designer series paper for this card, I'm going to use the Whimsy and Wonder designer series paper. I think that's what it's called. I really like the sparkly foil on this, and then the nice plain pattern side as well. So this I need to cut off 1 1/4 inches as well. So I'm going to cut that off the side. If you have a pattern that you particularly want to show, you might want to pay attention to which side you want to cut off. Whatever you cut off, that's going to become that side piece on the inside of your card to decorate your card that way. I don't think mine matters too much which side I cut off, so I'll just go ahead and cut off 1 1/4 inches. So then I have those layers. Okay, and then I also need a piece of basic white cardstock. This one is going to layer on the inside like that. So this one measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. So it's the same as what our patterned paper was to start with, because this patterned piece is going to layer like that inside of our card. But we don't want to attach all those quite yet because we want to make sure that we get that flap piece on. So let's start with our flap. So we'll make the base of our card. So this piece here is going to become that flap. So basically what you want to know, what you want to decide, I guess, is how far over you want that flap to go. You could have it go all the way over or part way. Mine are, on my other samples, are different. So this one, it only goes over a short, like it's what, 1 inch away from the edge, or 3/4 of an inch away from the edge. And this one's quite close. So it just depends on how your embellishments are going to lay on there. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a random fold. You can score it first if you want. I'm not too worried about that. So I'm just going to fold it over and just use my bone folder. If you like to score your score line, this is just a random, what is this? Just over 1 inch of a fold. It doesn't really matter because I'm going to trim it to the size I want before I'm done. Okay, so again, where you put this flap will be determined by what your decor is that you're going to add on top. But if you want kind of the generic look like I've got going on, most of these are going to be, well, these ones are lower than center. So it just, again, depends what you like, where you want your flap to be. So I'm going to put adhesive on the fold of my flap. And I'm going to use my grid paper to make sure I have everything straight. And I don't know, I'm just going to pick. I don't really know exactly where I want mine to be. I think it'll probably be kind of toward the bottom, like my other ones were. And I'm purposely lining it up with my card, the edge of my card base, so that when it's folded closed, that it's lined up nicely. And making sure, of course, that it's also straight, because that's important, right? Looks pretty good. So then you have your base with your flaps going on here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just finish the inside of this since it's there looking at me. I might as well. So now I can add all of my layers. So these I'm going to adhere together. So my basic white onto, this is mint macaron. And of course the basic white just gives us something to write on, right? We like that nice smooth surface to write on. And then my patterned paper, I want the this mint macaron side to be the side that is over here. So that's what I've chosen. It depends what, I mean, use what you like, of course, of the patterns that you're working with. And you don't have to use the same pattern paper for the, you know, both sides of the same piece. You might want to use something that coordinates differently. And then that goes on the inside. So then we have our inside done. Like that. And that covers up those layers nice, or that seam of that piece nicely. See how that hides it. Okay. So then I can add my front layers. Whoops. So same thing. I've got my mint macaron card base, matte layer, and my pattern paper layer. This time I'm going to have the other side of the pattern paper showing with all the sparklies. Like that. And that can adhere to the front of my card. See how easy this is? This is just all layers so far. Nothing difficult. And look how lovely those colors coordinate. I love that. So that's shaded spruce and mint macaron, working with the Whimsy Wonder and Whimsy, I don't remember what it's called, designer series paper. Let me just double check the name of that. If I can find it in the catalog quickly here. Or not. Oh, here we go. Whimsy and Wonder. Yes. Whimsy and Wonder. That's what that designer series paper is called. Okay. So then I want to do some layers on this. So I have my sentiment on the flap of my other cards. So we're going to do the same thing, except I've got a few ideas working here. So I have already cut my circle. This is Blushing Bride, so this will be my contrasting color, which will go over top and work with that. So I used my layering circles die. I also have, now I'm not going to remember what this is called either, the Snowflake. Oh yes, here it is. It's called the Wonderful Snowflakes. It's part of the Whimsy and Wonder suite, part of that suite. So I'm going to layer these, together. I hope I have all the elements I need here. Okay, so I want to put these together. I'm going to use just some Tombow liquid glue just on my snowflake only, or the center of my snowflake only. And I'm going to put it just a little bit to one side like that. And then I have this punch. This is the, I don't know, tree punch. It's probably called tree punch. We're just going to call it that. I'm not going to look it up. You can look it up. It's a wonderful punch. And I'm cutting it out of this designer series paper. This is the Host designer series paper. It's part of the Host pack. It is Party Patterns, one of those. So I'm just going to cut a little tree out of there. So I'm going to use the little tree. He's going to go right here somehow. I haven't quite figured out how I want him to go. About like that. But I also need a stamp, a sentiment. So I have, I've pre-die cut this little itty bitty square. This is die cut from the Messages dies, which looks like this. So this one cuts out all of these dies at once. I basically cut out these two shapes together. I just put a strip of paper in there, cut out those two so that I can use one of them for my card today. I'm going to use the stamp from the Whimsical Trees stamp set. It says Joy, so I'm just going to stamp that in the middle of that little die. Joy. And then that's going to go on my card too. But I've got to figure out how I want to layer these up. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my, what am I going to do? So these are going to go on here. Oh my goodness, they're so cute. Okay, so it's going to go kind of like that with the Joy, like that. Okay, so my tree, I do want to put my tree on dimensionals. I wasn't sure, but I'm pretty sure I do want to do that. So I better find my dimensionals. They are hiding on me. I'll use black ones because they're handy. They're right here. Might as well, right? They'll hide underneath everything nicely. So those guys I can put on here. I'm going to go, I think, like that. Okay, now before I put my Joy on, I want to put a little bit of ribbon on there. But maybe I'll decide where I want to put all that after. So let's decide. Let's put this one on here. This is going to go on like this with the, oops. The Joy will be kind of like that. So cute. Okay, my tree will be straight. Joy will be around here somewhere. I don't know where yet. But I do want to trim this down. So I think I will trim it down. I kind of like it so that it's about half and half to the distance, whatever distance I put my center element on. So if my center element's going to be there, I want to trim this down to there. So I can use that trimmer again, trim that down. And I find that that is definitely dependent on what elements you put in the card. I'm taking off 3/4 of an inch. Like that. And then I can trim. I want to do a little banner. I want to banner the edge like I did with my other cards. I like that look. So I'm just going to clip up the center of my little banner. I just want it to be a little bit of a flag. I don't want it to be too sharp of an angle. So I'm just going to do a narrow, or like just a gentle angle. Like that, just really, just a soft angle there. Okay, so then I can attach my circle. I'm going to attach that just directly. And again, totally up to you. You guys, if you're making something similar to this, if you're making this exactly, then go for it. And if you want to make something with your own decorations, then that's why I'm sort of giving you ideas as we go along. So this is going to go right in the middle like that. So that my tree is straight. Okay, now I said I wanted to put ribbon on. So for this, I am going to use the glittered Organdy ribbon. It's so pretty. Look how pretty it is. It has these little flecks in it that they pull out some of the pink and green in this paper. So I think what I'm going to do, is swag it. So I fold it into 3 and then I can just trim that off so I know how much I want here. And then I can swag that. It's going to go under my label. So I want to make sure it fits and that I like where it's going. So I'm going to have to use probably glue dots for this. And I want to make sure that all of those glue dots are hidden underneath my label, so I don't have a lot of room. And then we're almost done. There, just a pretty little swag of ribbon. Just adds a bit of texture and interest, and then my little joy is going to go in the middle of that swag with, I think a dimensional would work, don't you? Let's do a dimensional. Just one, that's all we need. I think, I don't know. I think I'm going to put it a little bit low, perhaps. Or I'll go ahead and adjust my ribbon a little bit. I think I want my ribbon just to be a little bit lower here, or to finish lower. There we go. There, that works better, I think. A little bit of a jaunty angle. So cute. How cute is that? Okay, what else? I think that's pretty good just how it is, but we could add, let's just add a few of these little clear epoxy, I don't know what they're called, clear epoxy dots? Not sure. There's some that are diamond shaped, some that are circles, and some that are water droplet shaped. I'm going to use the diamond shaped ones because I think that is quite pretty and sort of gives that feel of a play of light. You know, this whole thing, there's lots of little sparkles on this, so I like that. So we're going to just work with that a bit. Plus there's the diamond shape in this pattern paper, which works extra fancy too, I think. So we've got 3 down here. Let's throw a couple up here. I really like using clear embellishments just to add a little bit of sparkle to a project without taking away from the focal point. I like that. There we go. So I've got 3 up here, 3 down there, a nice little splay. That one's a little crooked. There we go. Nice little splay of color. So there we have it. There's it's just a super simple, super quick, fun card to make that you can just write something nice in. It doesn't take a lot of time to make it, so you can make a whole bunch of these.